The last part of that lick is, then what he does, he comes down an A major chord, which is, again, if you're thinking in the key E minor, that's the fifth of it's, which could be a major chord or a dominant chord, and it's just coming right down the 5th fret B string, 6th fret G string to the 7th fret G string. So it's, and again, it's, then it targets a note. It's really, again, all those are leading notes to a target note. And that target note is the 5th of the E minor chord. So he targets the 3rd to the root to the 5th. So it's pretty. If you just see the notes of that arpeggio, you can do anything and then lead up to those target notes. So again, it goes. And then here he does, and he goes down the E minor arpeggio from that. So he does the 7th fret or the 5th fret on the B string. I'm sorry, the 5th fret on the D string. I keep getting confused with that. And then the 7th fret on the A string, and then he targets that 4th fret on the D string. So the whole thing is. And that's the 9th of the E minor chord. That little lick there interested in me because he basically, it sounds like, and he may not be, but I enjoy playing it this way at least. He's basically sliding from the flat 5 to the 5th. But he does this. He repeats the lick, and that's what's kind of cool. But when he repeats it, he doesn't. It sounds like he's not playing it the same way. So instead of just doing, it sounds like he's actually sliding back into that, like, and then he hammers on. So it's this weird shifting of fingerings, but it's the same phrase. If you get my point. So the way I'm playing it, or the way I think he's playing it is, let's see. So he's got the 3rd finger on the 10th fret of the B string, slides up to the 11th and back down to the 10th, and then he pulls off to the 8th fret. So then he goes down to the 2nd finger on the 9th fret G string, and then the 10th fret on the B string with the 3rd finger. So the whole thing, that whole part is. So, and this it's really kind of like a trill of a sliding thing. And then instead of doing that again the same exact way, he slides that 1st finger. So after he does that little, he plays the 1st finger, slides up to that from the 8th fret to the 10th fret on the B string, and then hammers on and off that from the 10th fret to the 11th fret. So instead of sliding, he's hammering on at that point. And it just gives this, hammer-ons and slides sound completely different. And it's, again, those little subtleties that I think really make this kind of thing. So he's got, and then he slides back down. Again, there's another thing. Instead of pulling off those 2 notes there, he's sliding back down to that note. So I just think it's a cool little thing, and I'm trying to incorporate that in a little more into my playing. It's again one of those subtleties that slides just sound kind of slick when you incorporate them, and a lot of times we end up just hammering on, or we neglect the slides sometimes. Next part is really cool. Again, this whole thing's awesome. I like this tune. He does these slick half bends and slides, and it goes kind of like this. So from that one part, and that to me is just cool because instead of picking some of those notes, he's bending up and then bending down and sliding at the same time. But it's not a quick thing. It's kind of, he holds the note and then he hits that a second time. So what that is it's bending from the 14th fret on the B string to the 15th fret, the half step. And then when he pulls down, he bends up to that. He bends back down to the 14th fret to the C sharp note and then he pulls off. Then he pulls off to the 12th fret of the B string. So then he picks the 12th fret of the G string and he bends that 11th fret up to the 12th fret, a half a step on the G string. So. And that's where he bends it up a half step, bends it down, and then slides out of it. So it's 11th fret G string, bending up a half step, down, and sliding down to the 9th fret on the G string, obviously. And he only picks that first note right before the bend. So it's... And that's that idea. Again, really cool. I'm trying to incorporate a lot of these things, the picking, bending, sliding, into my own playing. I do it some, but not as much as I would like now after hearing this kind of stuff. And then the next part, he does... it's just kind of a scalar kind of run. And that scale thing, again, I'd slow it down to figure it out. I'm not going to go over note for note. But then he gets into this... He does that phrase again, that beginning phrase that we did before. Well, when he does this thing, right there, he plays that again, and that's kind of a jazzy saxophone-y kind of thing to do to introduce a motif. Classical kind of thing does it. Everybody does it. But the good players, they put something in your ear. You'll play something, and they don't just move on. They end up coming back to it, or they do an idea, and then they change the order around a little bit, and it's just a kind of a call and response kind of thing. It gets the listener to, if you're just playing random licks all the time, the listener gets bored pretty easily and quickly. At least I do. I enjoy hearing something, then something, I go, oh wait, that sounds, you just kind of get brought back. The whole thing kind of wraps together.